Hello, YouTube. This is a therapeutic edge or something is going on YouTube. Welcome back to a therapeutic edge. I'm just trying to make Women Carry Knives smile over there. How is everyone doing today? I hope the answer is well. I know things are going okay over here. I have something fun and new on the table in front of us today. This is from the folks over at Maxace, who have recently made, well, just some really great knives. This is the new Maxace Sandstorm-K. Now, I had the original Sandstorm. It was all titanium at M390. It was, I think they're about $390 now, but back then it was closer to $5. I had it for a while. Really didn't enjoy carrying it because of a combination of it was very heavy in full titanium, which is saying something considering I carried the Formax, but it's all about how that weight carries. And I just didn't carry it. You know, the blade was, as I said, M390, but it was a compound grind, and it was hollow ground, and then it came up to a thicker tip. It had a lot going on. It really did. And it just wasn't that good to work with. It was beautiful to look at. When I saw pictures of this a little while back, not too long ago, a little while back, the first thing I noticed was that this blade is just a high flat grind. Now, I have experience with Maxaces, with big tall blades with a high flat grind, and I have learned that they are excellent cutters. So this really got my attention. We'll come back to the Goliath 2 here in a minute. So what did they do to make this less expensive? Well, let's start with where the price is. This thing is $110. Now, if you get it at White Mountain Knives, which is where I got mine, no, I'm not an affiliate. I just happen to like their site. You can use, there's a bunch of discount or coupon codes that are out there. LTK has one. I think Slicey has one. Various folks have them that take, 10% off the knife. So having done that, this thing shipped at $99. And that is an excellent price because this is a lot of knife. It is K110 blade steel, hence the Sandstorm K. Now, K110 is basically D2. My experience with it is that it is a little more rust resistant, but not much. Holds an edge like D2. This is just a very good working blade. It is steel liners, G10 scales, big, really easily to use screws, which is very nice. I hate when they make a big knife and then put little T6s on it. No, none of that here. It is very, bless you, sorry, Women Carry Knives. It is very comfortable in hand because of the shape of this handle. I said this is a big knife, and it is. Let's do some size comparisons just for fun. Okay, so my normal large knife size comparison tool is the Benchmade Presidio 2. Now that knife is about 8.5 inches long. And as you can see, the Sandstorm K here just dwarfs it. Here's a bug out. My other knife that I usually use. This is just ridiculous. No, in fact, the size comparison knives that make the most sense are the two knives that I've already shown you. The Goliath 2, which is also a Maxace that they released a couple of months ago now, a month or so ago now. And the Formax by Cold Steel. The Formax remains one of my all-time favorite enormous knives. Yet now, it's got some company up in this range. That just makes me very happy. Now, one of the reasons that it makes me so happy is I think this is $128 and this is $110. This is, $350 or whatever they're going for now. If you get the new one, an S35VN, they're $400 and something. Yeah, this is a fancier knife. It's titanium and CPM 20ZV and whatever, but look, for $100, either one of these is such a complete win. They just make me happy. Now let's get the, look at this, look at these. If you want an enormous knife from Maxace in decent materials, well made, put together very beautifully, look at the choices you have. This is amazing. Let's do the size specs just because we got it here on the table. So if we line that up, you get 1, 2, 3, 4.25 inches of cutting on 4.5 inches of K110 steel. the grip area from behind that rise. 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4. The knife overall, if we line it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 3/4 inches overall. just shy of 10 inches long. This thing is fantastic. It's not that thick through the handle if we put it up this way. Well, we'll do the calipers here in a minute, but it's, you know, it's just at a 1/2 inch, maybe a little tiny bit over. This is a marvelous piece of engineering, and the price is so good. Now, everything is stone-washed. Blade, screws, liners, all of it. So it's got a nice muted appearance to it. The pocket clip is a very, very simple stamped clip. Pretty tight, but it gets in and out of jeans pretty well. And being tight with a knife this big is okay because it holds it in place. It's not what you'd call monstrously, did there, monster knife. Deep carries a little bit of knife sticking out, but not much. They did a pretty good job. You're probably looking at this little knob right here. This is a lock. And I'm not a huge fan of secondary locks on knives, but Maxace seems to like them, so here we are. Now, the way this works is simple. In this position, it is unlocked, and the knife closes as normal. If you turn it this way, it turns a bar in here that fits through a hole in the lock bar, and now you cannot move the lock bar out of the way. Simple and effective. Again, I'd be happier if it wasn't there, but nobody asked me, so here we are. Speaking of thumb studs, they are enormous. I mean, bigger even than the ones on the Formax, and that is saying something. But you know, the placement is great. They work every time. It is the only form of deployment, and they do a very good job. And because of where the sharpening choil comes all the way out to here, even these big old studs are just a tiny, just a hair in the cutting path. That's thoughtful design. It really is. There's not much jimping on this thing overall, although the scales are milled out to give you a lot of good traction. Oh, and by the way, as I mentioned, or if I didn't, it's a liner lock, and we're locked up at just about 40%, and locked up tight. No rock, no wiggle, no nothing. I was talking about jimping, so I will continue. There's a little bit of jimping on the back of the blade right here, which is good if you're pushing into the material you're cutting. There's a little bit of jimping forward of the thumb studs here, which is, just for my size hand, absolutely perfect. Now, I don't do a lot of cutting from this position, but if I was going to, if I needed to get the tip down into something and then push, that is excellently done. Hang on just a second. Look, I like big knives. You guys know that. And this is verging on absurd and yet completely usable. This is very, very fine at the edge. Much like the Goliath 2 here. They didn't spend a lot of time making the blades fancy. What you end up with is basically a sword width blade that comes down to a marvelous edge. We've already sort of done the size comparison, but one more time just for giggles. This is the Presidio 2, just dwarfed by it, and of course here's the Bug Hound. I mean, come on. It's a very big knife. Let's weigh it while we've got it on the table. You guys ever had a day where everything you say and do just feels odd? That's today for me, yeah. Gary Knife says yeah, too. I'm just having a weird day.
I'm just over here giggling. Some of the things you're saying.
All right, let's see. This thing is 223 grams, or 7.9 ounces. Now, look, that is a lot, but I have other full titanium knives that are much smaller that come in right around 7 ounces. So you're getting a lot of knife for not a lot of weight. And the way they do that is, and of course my camera and light are not set up to show you this at all, but the liners on this are milled out a ton. They're basically skeletonized. So they saved a ton of weight there. It's really nice. Oh my, it's really nice. Let's use the calipers and get the rest of the specs out of the way. The blade itself is 3.93 millimeters, which is reasonably thick, but again, because of this long, long grind, it comes down to a marvelous edge. The handle itself is 15.2 millimeters, or... Oh, that was weird. Let's try that again, shall we? A little over half an inch. Yeah. Almost 0.6 of an inch. Right. Close profile on this thing is just at 2 inches. And the closed length, by the way, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and almost a half inches. This is not a knife for women carry knives, girl jeans pockets at all. I will say that it is considerably shorter than the Formax in the closed position, because the Formax has got so much handle to blade ratio, whereas the Sandstorm here has got a marvelous blade to handle ratio. So what's the final analysis? What's the point? Well, here's the point. If you like enormous knives, some do, some don't. But if you do, Maxace is absolutely giving you options that were not around just a year ago. These are phenomenal in design, execution, and aesthetic. They are good materials at completely reasonable prices. My suggestion is get one quick, because unfortunately Maxace does not make big runs, so sometimes their knives sell out. So if this interests you, go get one. You will not feel disappointed in the money you put into it, I promise. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Maxace Sandstorm-K. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. The giggler on the couch has been Women Carry Knives. It's been absolutely fun showing this thing to you guys today. I know how to speak. Watch me go. Take care, folks. We'll see you next time.